bald-headed, wig-wearing, corrupt, nauseating, disgusting hack Paula Metzler of Penfield Town Court and corrupt, nauseating, disgusting, corrupt hack James P. Mully Jr. of Penfield Town Court, who has more hair than bald-headed Paula Metzler on Penfield Town Court. What's my name? You know my name, bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler, because in your disgusting, vile, demented, sick, bankrupt existence, you as one person are in the process of sending me to jail as an innocent man, trying to send me to jail as an innocent man. And I'm not coming into Penfield Town Court because I have no documentation. Where's the jury in Penfield Town Court, Paula Metzler? How do you explain to the Department of Justice that everybody's guilty in Penfield Town Court and there's no jury? I'm going to prove that everybody's guilty in Penfield Town Court because I sent you these 3 Freedom of Information Law documents. You received them because you're calling the fanatics, degenerates, and sociopaths at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office to come to my residence when I'm exercising my First Amendment right and demanding information to you. And this is what I'm going to tell the Department of Justice when I send the Department of Justice between 500 and 1,000 words on this vile dissent on my life, character, integrity as an innocent man who's never committed a crime. I'm going to prove to you right now that the law's a joke to you, Paula Metzler and James P. Mully Jr. Freedom of Information Law. You already received this. I need to change the date. I will change the date. You're going to get the same document at least twice before January 1st. The same document that I sent to you, a Freedom of Information Law, and the key word in it is law. Bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler and James P. Mully Jr., who has more hair than bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler. This is a Freedom of Information Law that I had filled out on December 16th, 17th, 18th that you already received. This is going to prove that Penfield Town Court is an assembly line of guilt, that no one walks into Penfield Town Court acquitted and goes home a free American without a criminal record. And that's why you received it on December 16th, 17th, 18th, and you refused to comply because this document, it will certify to the United States Department of Justice that everyone that walks into Penfield Town Court is adjudicated guilty by you two disgusting fucking hacks and has a criminal record. No one's acquitted. Freedom of Information Law. My name is Christopher Chichester. I have never committed a crime. The name, charge, and sentence of every defendant in Penfield Town Court before John P. Lomenzo Jr., James C. Mully Jr., and Paula Metzler. That is dated December 16th. Bald-headed Paula Metzler and James P. Mully Jr., who has more hair than bald-headed Paula Metzler. The name, charge, and sentence of every defendant in Penfield Town Court before John P. Lomenzo Jr., James P. Mully Jr., and Paula Metzler. That is dated December 17th. Paula Metzler and James P. Mully Jr., who has more hair than bald-headed Paula Metzler. The name, charge, and sentence of every defendant in Penfield Town Court before John P. Lomenzo Jr., James P. Mully Jr., and Paula Metzler. Do you understand that language? Bald-headed Paula Metzler and James P. Mully Jr., who has more hair than bald-headed Paula Metzler. Paula, I hope that you are in eternal, everlasting pain because of the death of Eric Metzler. I hope that just drove you crazy, what I just said about you. And I know it did. I had to. Send me a list of defendants in Penfield Town Court. Everybody's guilty. Everybody's guilty. That's my conclusion. Paula Metzler. This is the official symbol of Penfield Town Court. Perhaps you've seen this. This is it right here. Paula Metzler. This is the official symbol of Penfield Town Court. Do you recognize this symbol? Paula Metzler of Penfield Town Court. That just drove you up the wall right now, you bald-headed, wig-wearing, disgusting Jonestown hack. Speaking of Jonestown hacks, That's Sheriff Baxter and Sandra Dorley. And here we have, I'm riding my bike down Penfield Road, and I see this lawn sign, re-elect Sandra Dorley. Sandra, sweetheart, I have my backpack. My phone's in my backpack. I got off my bike. I took this picture of you. Re-elect Sandra Dorley. Perry Duckles, when I looked at this re-elect Sandra Dorley of your boss, your party-switching criminal boss, I have my phone in hand. I'm standing here on the sidewalk of Penfield Road. I took this picture, and I had nauseousness start in my stomach. And when I got back on my bike, it continued for about 30 seconds. Conviction Integrity Unit. Perry, what does this Conviction Integrity Unit do? Does it exist? Why do you have to have the establishment of a bureaucracy called a Conviction Integrity Unit? I'm going to send you a Freedom of Information Law document. I'm going to show you what a Freedom of Information Law document looks like, you parasites at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Monroe County District Attorney's Office, and Penfield Town Court, because you've unleashed parasites upon me. These Layla Kumar and Nayraj Shah live right next to me at 2041 Penfield Road. That's a Freedom of Information Law. There are about 100 I'm holding in my hand right now. I'm going to fill this out on December 26th, 28th, and 30th. And everything I'm going to read to you on December 26th, 28th, 30th, including the demand for the latest list of salaries or payroll, you refuse to provide to me. You refuse, because the law's a joke to you. So, bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler. Who is Lee LaRoque? Did you meet with Lee LaRoque? There's your name right there, Paula C. Metzler. For a search warrant to get into my residence, and she exited with my Chromebook. To any deputy sheriff of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and any other police officer in the state of New York. Any deputy sheriff. Any other police officer in the state of New York. Do you read language, Paula Metzler? Do you read language? Do you understand language? Do you understand the English language, bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler? You got together with this degenerate Lee LaRoque, and you decided that you're going to enter my residence. You contacted my landlord to get in here. When I was in Livingston County Jail, I was an innocent man. What am I doing in Livingston County? How do you explain that to the United States Department of Justice, you bald-headed, wig-wearing, nauseating hack? How do you explain that I'm in Livingston County when I've lived in Monroe County for 9 years? And I'm going to contact the sheriff of Livingston County and the district attorney of Livingston County. I'm going to demand answers from them. The reason why I believe I'm in Livingston County and I wasn't provided an answer when I'm asking is that if I was in Monroe County Jail, in all likelihood would have been attacked by one of Sheriff Todd Baxter's employees at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, because I've been attacked repeatedly by his employees. His employees have had their hands, these violent thugs, these criminals that work for Todd Baxter, on me repeatedly in Penfield Town Court, in Monroe County Jail. Does that matter to you, Perry Duckles? You won't even tell me the name of your assistant district attorney who didn't say one word twice in Penfield Town Court, first before John P. Lomenzo and next before Paula Metzler. You won't even tell me the name. I'm going to get to that, Perry. Perry, click reply and tell me the name of your prosecutor first before John P. Lomenzo and next before this bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler who doesn't talk. How am I delivered to jail when a prosecutor doesn't talk? How is that explained to the United States Department of Justice? So, harassment second. Why is it $79,000 a year Andrew Reality been fired? Criminal contempt second. Why is it $67,000 a year Shannon Meyer been fired? This is one of the payrolls. This is the original, but I had copies, and a copy was taken out of this residence. When this Lee LaRoque, this psychopath that you pay $91,000 to, entered my residence because it's bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler. Paula Metzler, click reply and send me the documentation, the legal documentation that you filled out to get Lee LaRoque into my residence. Because this little pathetic thing here is all I have. How does this have any force of law? To any deputy sheriff of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and any other police officer in the state of New York, proof by affidavit, where is it? That's what I'm demanding. This is not proof by affidavit. That's your name right there. You bald-headed, wig-wearing psychopath. Paula C. Metzler, proof by affidavit. Where's the proof by affidavit, you bald-headed, wig-wearing psychopath? I had demanded this document 50 times, and this is why they're concocting crimes for me. 50 times I had to demand the public employee payroll list of salaries at the Monroe County Sheriff Office from you, Todd Baxter. 50 times. This is your arrogance and contempt for the law. You're the duly elected sheriff of Monroe County. And the law is just words on paper to you. The law is insignificant. The law is meaningless. The law is a joke, and you're a joke. Same thing with salaries for the district attorney's office. Over and over, I'm demanding this from the district attorney's office, and I finally received it. You got 14 people on here making $100,000, including Michelle Crowley, $117,798. How do you explain Michelle Crowley, Sandra Dorley, at $117,798? How do you explain that? Let me see if I can find a six. Oh, I just opened up the page, and it's there right there. Here we have, this is an award winner here. This is Jansen D. McNair, $104,938. Utah the fascist stooge had a ceremony where you gave out your fake awards, and one of them was Jansen McNair. I'm trying not to laugh. When I laugh, I try not to laugh because there's nothing funny or humorous about this repulsive concoction of crimes for me by you fanatics in the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and District Attorney's Office, where the prosecutor doesn't talk. Prosecutor doesn't talk because I haven't committed a crime. Jansen D. McNair at $104,938 was one of your fake award winners. Fake award. I looked at these photos on the Facebook page. You're organizing this event. Instead of these employees doing their jobs, which is to pursue real criminals, here they are in an auditorium where you're honoring them. I believe that employees should be recognized. And in the Army, when I was a 75 Bravo, in the 2nd Squadron of 17 Cavalry, 101st Airborne Division, Air Assault, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, as a 75 Bravo, it's a personnel administration specialist. I was a desk jockey. One of my responsibilities was to do the awards. Army Commendation, Army Achievement Medal are the most common. You veterans there at the District Attorney's Office, the Sheriff's Office, and all likely would have an Army Commendation Medal, Army Achievement Medal. And I would do it for Meritorious Service Medal, Legion of Merit, anything. Anything the Colonel told me, I would do the award for. And these were real awards for achievement by soldiers at 21 years old that I was in awe of because I was in the cab with the Rangers. And when they would wear their dress greens once a month during the payroll ceremony, I would look at the Rangers with that Ranger tab and think that these are the bravest men on planet Earth. And in their dress greens, you could see that they were airborne qualified, air assault qualified. You could see the ribbons. You could see the blue infantry braid that they would wear on their uniforms. It was America to look at these Rangers. These are real award winners. Heroes, true heroes, when that word is ridiculously abused in the United States of America. And combat veterans, too. So, here you are with your fake awards, Todd Baxter. I'm going to send you a Freedom of Information law. I'm going to demand how you organize this little ceremony. If you pay taxpayer dollars for it, that's why I'm going to send you a Freedom of Information law. It's not filled out. Here it is, Todd the fascist stooge. Law is the key word. You had a ceremony with your employees in uniform. They're on uniform. They're on taxpayer time, where you're glorifying yourselves, this masturbation of you, Todd Baxter, conferring your fake awards on your public employees is such a joke, an abomination, a disgrace, a vile, sickening hack. So, I'm going to prove it right now. This is on the last page. This is your payroll one that Lee LaRoque didn't take out of my residence. Who the hell are you, Lee LaRoque? This is it. I had multiple copies. You know what I did? I made multiple copies. I put them in a box because I knew you were going to be in here. That's why. So it's on the last page for a reason. My question, I'm going to read these, is, are these minors Sheriff of 1984 party switching bald-headed fraud Todd Baxter? Are these minors these names? You should be able to conclude. I'm going to tell you why I believe these minors. But when I read these names and the amount of money paid, you should be able to figure out, Todd the fascist stooge, why these are minors. William M. Dunbar, $12,244. Eric J. Lorez, $12,244. Brianna Elvin, $11,856. Rachel June Scott, $11,856. Madison Ball, $11,856. Joshua M. Priest Del Jacko, $12,244. Odd A. Al-Mansoup, $12,224. Amber M. Cripps, $12,244. Camille M. Miller, $11,544. Bradley D. Finn, $11,544. Thomas N. Evangelista, $12,244. Felicia R. McLaren, $12,244. Those names, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Those 12 names I just read, every one is paid less than $15,000. That's not a full-time employee. What do these individuals do at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office to be paid this amount of money? Are these minors? When I contact the New York State Control and demand that the New York State Control audit your office, this is going to be 1,000 words alone. Just on what I just read, 1,000 words alone. 1,000 plus words, in fact. It'll be more. So, of the names I just read, are these the minor children of your employees? Kathleen Miller is paid $36,000 at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. I believe it's 36 or 34. And Andrew Miller is paid $79,000. I'm doing this from memory. But there's Andrew Miller and Kathleen Miller. So my question is, Kathleen Miller, are you married to Andrew Miller? And Kathleen Miller, is Camille N. Miller your daughter? What's the answer to that question, Kathleen Miller? Because Camille N. Miller is paid $11,544. Is Camille N. Miller your daughter, Kathleen Miller? And is your daughter on the payroll because she's your daughter? And if that, in fact, is the reality of the situation, then that's nepotism. Because there's no way that Camille N. Miller is on this payroll and I'm reading her name if she's not your daughter. If this is Camille N. Miller, not related to Kathleen Miller, there's no way I'm reading her name. There's no way she's on her payroll. What's the answer to that, Kathleen Miller? I know what you're thinking there at the Monroe County Sheriff's. I know what you're thinking, Kathleen Miller. You're thinking that guy needs to be arrested for being on YouTube and reading the name of Camille N. Miller. If, in fact, Camille N. Miller is your daughter, I don't know. Is Camille N. Miller your daughter? I'm going to put the name Camille N. Miller on YouTube. I'm going to put her name there. What do you think about that, Kathleen Miller? Because it's a public employee. If Camille N. Miller is a public employee and I have Camille N. Miller's name on the payroll, that's a public employee. That's taxpayer dollars. YouTube, Camille N. Miller, 1,000 words. I'm going to get on YouTube and talk about Camille N. Miller. And I'm also going to talk about these other names here. Because one thing that I always enjoy reading is the baby names. As I was born in 1965, Christopher was just becoming a popular baby name. And for approximately 15 years, Christopher was a leading baby name in the top 100, top 50. It's not anymore. Mothers and fathers, the Christopher's is going way downhill. So, as I enjoy reading the baby names and how things change in American society changes and how people change their view of how to live their lives, and that includes how they name their children. What's one of the most important decisions in life that a mother and father is going to make? It's how to name your child. So, Brianna Elvin, 11,856 when I was in elementary school, and that's a beautiful name. I didn't know any Brianna. Amber Cripps. There was not a single girl ever I have never met when I was in elementary school, high school, into my early 20s. I never met an Amber. I'm doing this just guessing. Is Amber M. Cripps on the Monroe County Sheriff's Office payroll for $12,240 a minor? How do you answer that question, Todd Baxter? You refuse to answer. Bradley D. Finn, $11,544. I love that name, Bradley. Is Bradley a minor? I don't know. So you have individuals on here that are not full-time employees, because if you're making less than $20,000, you're not a full-time employee. Madison Ball, $11,856. Madison Ball related to anyone else in the Monroe County Sheriff's Office with the last name Ball. Is the Monroe County Sheriff's Office party-switching, bald-headed fraud, a haven of nepotism? Sandra Dorley. My name is Christopher Chichester. I've never committed a crime. What's the name of your assistant district attorney who stands in Penfield Town Court and does not talk? First before John P. Lomenzo Jr. and next before Paula Metzler. What's the name? I've been in there 3 times. Twice with a prosecutor didn't talk, and then one time, the second time, I'm walking over to Wegmans after I went to Canandaigua National Bank. That's because when I exited my residence, Todd Baxter, your employees are in their vehicles waiting for me. What's the United States Department of Justice going to think, you bald-headed sociopath, when I tell them what I'm about to say right here on this YouTube? I exit my residence to go to Canandaigua National Bank. I walk down the sidewalk. I see your vehicles passing me repeatedly. I don't know what it is yet. And I'm thinking, what's going on? And since I'm not paranoid, I dismissed it. I went to Canandaigua National Bank. And I withdrew $40 because I had $21.39 in my pocket. So, Sheriff of Monroe County, Todd Baxter. I walk down Penfield Road and make a right on Sanders Farm Drive. I walk to Willow Pond Way, to the front of Wegmans. Your 5 vehicles converged upon me. 11 employees were there. One of them lowered his shoulder, ran at me, drove his shoulder into the small of my back, knocked me over, and my head bounced off the concrete pavement at the pharmacy entrance of Wegmans, and then he briefly sat on me. This is a violent attack assault. What's his name? Party-switching, bald-headed Todd Baxter. What's his name? You have 11 witnesses to this crime upon me, this felony assault upon me. What would you think if what happened to me there at the pharmacy entrance to Wegmans happened to Zachary Baxter, Kevin Baxter? What would you think if the head of Zachary Baxter bounced off the concrete pavement outside the pharmacy entrance of Wegmans after he was attacked by a Monroe County Sheriff's Office employee? What would you think if the head of Kevin Baxter bounced off the concrete pavement outside the pharmacy entrance of Wegmans after he was attacked by a Monroe County Sheriff's Office employee? So, and I was getting checked when I was eventually a free man after the prosecutor didn't talk in court. I'm just without a jury in Penfield Town Courthouse. I explained to the Department of Justice, bald-headed Wig-Wearing Paula Metzler just sitting there, innocent guilt, and they're all guilty. That's why I have that check for $61.39 because I had $21.39 in my pocket. That's from you. County Monroe Office of Sheriff. I have this check because I was attacked by your public employee. What's his name, Todd Baxter? There were 11 witnesses. How often is an innocent American attacked outside a supermarket by sheriff office employees when the 11 witnesses are those sheriff office employees? What's his name, you bald-headed party-switching criminal? So, on this Christmas Day, Todd the Fascist Stooge, I have a replica of someone who is just as guilty of a crime as I am. Perhaps you recognize this guy here, Todd the Fascist Stooge. You recognize him? Because he's guilty of criminal contempt. He's guilty of harassment second, just like me. This guy right here. So, criminal contempt second. I'll repeat myself because it has to be drilled and hammered into your heads. It's not enough to say it once. Harassment second. Who am I harassing? I go to the now defunct PW Fitness. I'm at the back. Up walks to me Jim Psychopath, Jermaine Beman, Jessica Wagner at the district attorney's office, who's no longer employed at the district attorney's office. She's the defense attorney for a violent thug. Walks up to me, goes like this. I say 30 seconds. I'll be 30 seconds. I lean back on the machine. Benman punches down. My head snaps back violently. We go out to the car after witness called the sheriff's office. Andrew Reale arrives. He tells me to sit in the back seat of his vehicle. I do. He's talking to Jermaine Benman because he told Jermaine Benman what to say. He walks Jermaine Benman around to the side of the vehicle. Jermaine Benman says to me, I want to press charges against you. I'm charged with harassment second, sitting in the back seat of Monroe County Sheriff's Office vehicle. Harassment. Who am I harassing, Todd Baxter? What's the name of the individual? If I'm hypothetically guilty of harassment second, there's a victim. Who's the victim? Who's the victim, you bald-headed criminal? There is no victim. How do you explain that to the Department of Justice? I was in jail for that. Jermaine Benman walked right out the door when he appeared before James Mully because there's a deal between Jessica Wagner and James Mully, and the attorney for Jermaine Benman to let him walk right out the door. Criminal contempt second. How is this a crime? Kevin Baxter and Zachary Baxter can walk through this parking lot without being arrested. Why is that? Why am I the only American in the United States of America, in New York State, in Monroe County, in Penfield, New York, to be arrested for walking through this parking lot that I've walked through 4,000 times? You can conquer the crime for me. Shannon Meyer, your $67,000 a year nauseating hack, met with Steve Desmond and Brock Colo Tree in lawn care. You want me to come out of the house? You're using a civilian, Steve Desmond, to get to my residence, and you met with the guy in his tractor who has a long gray beard. If they haven't been here for 7 years, what are they suddenly doing here? The guy's on his tractor here. I come outside, stand right here. The guy in his tractor stops, gets off, walks away. I tell him nobody owns that land. I walk back in my house. How's that criminal contempt second? How's that a crime? How do you explain that to the Department of Justice, Todd Baxter? How do you explain to the Department of Justice you used the civilian Steve Desmond and Brock Colo Tree in lawn care to get to my residence because he met with Shannon Meyer? This is a concoction of a crime for me. This should never happen to anybody in the United States of America. I have always known the difference, the separation, the distinction between legal and illegal, and you don't. Do you understand what a joke you are as a sheriff of Monroe County, and you and your employees do not understand what constitutes a criminal act? I have never committed a crime, you sociopaths, at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office and Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Todd, when I fill out this Freedom of Information law, you're going to receive it. I hope to fill it out December 26, 2830. YouTube is a valid means of communication to demand information from public officials, elected officials. I know you see me because you're coming here. I hope I'm driving you crazy being on YouTube and using your names and telling you what I think about you. This is blank. I hope to fill this out 3 times before January 1st, on the 26th, 28th, and 30th. And every Freedom of Information law that I'm going to fill out here, I'm going to read again. Just you already received it. And this includes, what are the physical training standards of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? It's a disgrace to look at your employees, Todd the Fascist Stooge, in their uniforms, and the conclusion is the conclusion anybody would make, that they have weight problems. Not just a few pounds, because millions of Americans are a few pounds overweight. That's fairly normal. You have employee after employee after employee that's 20 plus pounds overweight, including Leah LaRoque. Leah, I looked at a photograph of you at the public safety building, and it's confirmation of what I believed for 18 plus months about your criminal organization at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, that there are no standards for anything. You do whatever the hell you want. How the hell do you, Leah LaRoque, do your job when you are in the vicinity, I'm guessing, it's only a photograph, of 40 pounds overweight? Leah. 40 pounds overweight, Leah LaRoque. Where's his proof by affidavit? Where is it? Now, Leah, I have a Christmas present for you, Leah. You're going to love this Christmas present that I bought for you. I bought this at the Wegmans Food Market's headquarters of your boss, Sheriff Todd Bass, because he always has his vehicles alongside Wegmans. They love to drive by that building. Isn't that right, Todd? I'm looking for the photograph, one of my favorite photographs of your employees driving by Wegmans, Todd, baby. But, Leah, Merry Christmas. I'm going to put this in the mail soon. I'm going to mail this to you, Leah, sweetheart, because you have to love Twinkies. I'm guessing that you love Twinkies giving you a weight problem. I mean, look at this box, Leah. I mean, I love this. I could eat this whole box of great shit because I run and bike and swim and go to the gym. But you, Leah, you're going to love these Twinkies. All right? So this is Chris Chichester, who's never committed a crime, telling you that this is your official Christmas present from me, sweetheart. All right? I'm thinking of you, you fanatic, degenerate sociopath, on Christmas Day. Merry Christmas, Leah. So, Todd, do you have to have sex with a jail? Because it's Christmas Day. I mean, do you want to party like it's 1999, having sex with a jail, Todd, baby? Sheriff Todd Baxter, I have a passion for jails. You are such a joke, a buffoon. I have a passion for jails. How do you say I have a passion for jails? Because what you're confessing is you love suffering. When I say you're not normal, which I said on a previous YouTube, that you're not normal, this is why. I have never heard anyone in my career in Albany, Washington, D.C., where I was in hearings at the House Judiciary Committee on Capitol Hill, where my boss, Congressman Lamar Smith, chaired either a subcommittee hearing or a full committee hearing when the chairman couldn't be there, James Sensenbrenner. And I've seen police officers testify repeatedly on Capitol Hill when I worked for Congressman Lamar Smith of Texas. I've seen police officers testify when I worked for the majority leader and governor in Albany. I have been around police officers for significant periods of my life as an employee in Albany and Washington, D.C. I have never heard a police officer, law enforcement official, communicate any language like this language. I have a passion for jails. You're not normal. There's something radically wrong with you. Democratic and Chronicle question to Sheriff Todd Baxter. Last year, Sheriff Patrick O'Flynn opened a new housing area in the Monroe County Jail for incarcerated military veterans in order to provide them with specialized programming. Do you have any other changes in mind for the jail or further outreach for veterans? Sheriff Todd Baxter, quote, it's a beautiful area. I wish all the parts of the jail looked like that from the standpoint. It was controlled, it was clean, and the people there wanted to be there. We even had other inmates trying to get in and be part of that unit because it's stabilized and they see hope at the end of it. From an operational standpoint of the jail, we want to create more like that. Hope in jail? Hope's a four-letter word, Todd, baby. It's a beautiful area. The beautiful area of the jail. This is why I use the language I do about you, you bald-headed criminal. It's a beautiful area. It's fucking jail. I wish all the parts of the jail looked like that from the standpoint. You wish all the parts of the jail looked like that? Why? It's fucking jail. It was controlled. The jail is supposed to be controlled. That's your job, is to control the jail. It was clean, and the people there wanted to be there. I don't know an inmate ever who wants to be in jail. In the beautiful area that's controlled. We even had other inmates trying to get in. You had other inmates trying to get in. See, I was there wearing my jumpsuit that signified I was a veteran. What a joke that is, too. And I wasn't trying to get into the beautiful area, Todd the Fascist Stooge. I mean, I was not provided an application to get into the beautiful area of the jail. And be part of that unit because it's stabilized. Stabilized. Your job is to stabilize the jail and prevent the inmates from attacking each other or your employees from attacking the inmates. And your employee attacked me in your jail. And they would see hope at the end of it. Hope. Hope is a throwaway word. Don't ever use that word again. I'm telling you how to talk. Don't ever use that four-letter word, hope, Todd the Fascist Stooge. From an operational standpoint of the jail, we want to create more like that. Oh, really? You want to create more with your specialized colored jumpsuits. What am I doing wearing a jumpsuit because I was a veteran? I was honorably discharged as a 22-year-old Sergeant E5 from 2nd Squadron, 17 Cavalry, 101st Airborne Division Air Assault on May 27th, 1988. I've now worn the uniform of my country now for 32 years. What am I doing wearing as an innocent man a jumpsuit with a color that signifies I'm a veteran? You're sitting around at your jail and your sheriff's office coming up with this specialized colored jumpsuit and a special area for the jail for the veterans, and then having sex with yourself when you're talking to the Democrat and Chronicle about how glorious your sex life is because of I have a passion for jails. If you're at that jail, every inmate should have the same uniform color. There shouldn't be a special area for anybody. You're giving preferential treatment. You're segregating inmates based on the fact that someone served or didn't serve in the military, and that's a disgrace. Just because the other thing, not other thing, a thing that repulses me in the United States of America is a celebration of someone for being a veteran, just being a veteran, when you don't even know what that person's service is. You have someone that can say that they're a veteran, and you can be honorably discharged from the military, and you could be the subject of a courts-martial. You could have received an Article 15. And Article 15 is a non-judicial punishment under the Uniform Code of Military Justice, and I used to do that. I used to sit in on the courts-martial. You have someone that is honorably discharged and has an Article 15. You could have someone that was a total fuck-up in the military. They did their 3 years, and all they was an E3, private first class, E4, a total fuck-up, and they could be a veteran. Just because you're a veteran doesn't make you some type of hero. There are tens of millions of veterans in the United States of America. And I am repelled by this celebration of people just because they wore a uniform, they were a veteran. 10 years ago, 20 years, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, when you know nothing about their career in the military, in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Just because you are a veteran does not confer any type of praise upon you. Todd the fascist stooge. So get rid of this pathetic area for your veterans and put everybody in the same colored jumpsuit. You incompetent hack. So. Michael Harrigan at the district attorney's office. What do you do for $108,338? What do you do? Do you stand in Penfield Town Court and not talk? What's the name of this prosecutor who doesn't talk, Perry Douglas? Click reply and tell me her name. So, I've never heard Miranda versus Arizona. Why is that? How do you explain that to the United States Department of Justice? Sheriff Todd Baxter, Sandra Dorley. Are you familiar with the 1966 Supreme Court decision in Miranda versus Arizona? This is arguably the most important Supreme Court decision in the history of the United States of America because it protects the civil and constitutional rights of every single American. Does not matter what you look like. Doesn't matter your race, your ethnicity. Doesn't matter. This protects everyone. Protects is a word. I hesitate to use that word because of the paternalism of government. But this is a right that protects every American from the fanatical existence of the cops. And Todd Baxter, in Monroe County, are a fanatical existence. You are a fanatic, Todd Baxter, because you put a camera on this building at 2025 Penfield Road and lied about it. You lied about it repeatedly. You put a camera on this building. You purchased, you expended taxpayer dollars to buy this camera at 2025 Penfield because I walked through the parking lot 4 to 4,000 times. And this Elliot Roth, it's his business, he works there, says you're going to be arrested. That's because he knows you put this camera on here. And then when I was calling a surveillance device, your sick hacks like Michael Rad and Kathleen Miller and William Today and Scott Alberta, you're calling Lindsey Barron in Monroe County Office of Mental Health to come to my residence. What is the United States Department of Justice? What are the employees of the United States Department of Justice going to think when you spend a taxpayer dollars for a surveillance device for me? And that's what it is. What's a camera you purchased and affixed to a building at 2025 Penfield Road to capture an image call of a human being? It's called a surveillance device. And you bought one for me. How much did you pay for it? You refused. You refused to tell me. So, I had to send this email to my mom and dad when I was released from jail without the prosecutor talking, without being told my sentence. I had to send this to my mom and dad. I'm going to try to read this. I don't know how much of it I'm going to read and control myself. This should never happen in the United States of America to an innocent man. Dear Mom and Dad, fourth paragraph. On May 30th, I was at this gym on the bench press. I do 3 sets of 10 repetitions with a 30-second pause in between. I count the 30 seconds in my head. On this day, I did 1 repetition. As I finished the first repetition on the bench press, a man named Jermaine C. Benman walked up to me. This character, Benman, is approximately 6 feet, 200 pounds. I have no doubt that he's a convicted felon and a total degenerate. I also have no doubt that he's a user of human growth hormone and steroids, and both, as those illegal substances present anger and temperament control side effects and hair loss. Benman is bald. His arms are abnormal. He looks like a cartoon. On this May day, I finished 1 bench press repetition. Benman stops approximately 5 feet from me. He says nothing. He motions rapidly with his right hand from right to left. He wants me to get off the machine. I reply, I will be 30 seconds. I moved backward to continue the exercise. Benman straddled me. He's standing over my waistline. I started to rise up and about to ask him, what are you doing? I didn't get a chance to say one word. Benman raised his right hand and punched downward. His fist landed on my jaw. My head snapped back. My glasses flew off. My right hand prevented me from landing on the floor. I now know I could take a violent punch like a champion. This assault had a witness, and the witness told the owner to call the Monroe County Sheriff. I didn't ask the name of the witness. He told me he's never seen anything like it at the gym. Deputy Andrew Reale arrived from the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Reale did not say a single word to me in the gym, Mom and Dad, not even tell me what happened. Reale ordered Benman and I outside. He placed me in the Sheriff's Office vehicle, but he talked to Benman outside. I'm thinking, what is going on with this incompetent deputy? Benman is the criminal, and I am in the car. It is bizarre. I next told Reale to talk to the witness in the gym. He didn't. Benman approached the sheriff's vehicle. I sat in. Reale's behind him. Benman tells me, quote, I want to press charges against you, end quote. I reply, quote, Vermont, you assaulted me. You were the criminal. Do you recall assaulting me? You recall your violent punch, end quote. Benman says nothing. I can tell he's confused. He's an ignoramus. I next say, did this deputy Reale coach you to say you want to press charges against me, end quote? I asked Reale, did you coach him, end quote? Benman did not answer. Reale did not say a word to me, led Benman away. This deputy Reale is such a manipulative and corrupt officer that I refused to ascertain the facts. I asked him, why are you talking to the criminal, not the victim? I never again want to have to describe myself as a victim, but it's my status that day. I went to University of Rochester urgent care near my house after the gym, as I had moderate pain in my jaw and neck. The nurse said my jaw was not broken, but recommended I go to the hospital. I didn't. I didn't want to live with the fact that this criminal Benman sent me to the hospital, Mom and Dad. My jaw bothered me. The next day, and I've not been in pain since. So there is no permanent damage. Since Benman said he wanted to press charges against me, I was charged with harassment second. So that should never happen in the United States of America to an innocent citizen. Why hasn't $79,000 a year Andrew Reale been fired, Todd Baxter? Because he represents the same type of nauseating, disgusting corruption that you represent, you bald-headed party-switching stooge. That should never happen in the United States of America. And the reason why it happens, it's just Jonestown Kool-Aid drinkers there. I was in Monroe County Jail for that concoction. And Jermaine Benman walked right out the door when he appeared before James P. Mully Jr. because James P. Mully negotiated a deal with Jessica Webb. Kool-Aid. That's the official beverage of the District Attorney's Office, Sheriff's Office, and why it's Kool-Aid. Here's my little guy. Millions of people own dogs and love their dogs. Because your dog gives you that unconditional love and fills your heart up. That's why. So, this is my little guy. And I lived in Webster with my ex-girlfriend, beautiful Laura. And we decided we wanted to adopt a dog and went to Lollipop Farm Humane Society. So, this is in 2012. And we interviewed before we would go to the cages where they keep the dogs. And they do such beautiful work. There's a special place in heaven for these people that do this work at Lollipop Farm Humane Society. They are dedicated to placing dogs in the homes of people that want to adopt dogs. So, we were asked at Lollipop in the interview, Laura Riley and I, do you have criminal records? And in 2012, at Lollipop Farm Humane Society, I replied to that question, I don't have a criminal record. To this day, I've never committed a crime. So Laura and I were approved. We went to the cages. And as we were walking there, I said to her, I don't want to get a barking dog. And then we got to the cages and there's barking everywhere. And Laura said to me, are you sure you don't want to get a barking dog? And I said, I changed my mind. I went to the cage and there's a Shih Tzu He's sitting there. He was looking right at us, staring right at us. And Laura said to me, he's looking right at you. I think he was looking at both of us, but just the way she is in her heart, the way she talks to me, that made me feel good. So, and we brought him home. So, you, Todd Baxter, do not know that people love their dogs. You do not know. I'm walking my dog the same way 4,000 times on this land next to my residence. It has no ownership for these parasites, Nayraj and Kumar Shah. And I told them on May 14th, 2019, I told them, you don't own the land alongside and behind my house because you do not have the required documentation that proves ownership. You concocted new crimes for me because I emailed them, and I'm going to email them. Good. I'm glad you're concocting a crime for me because I emailed Nayraj and Kumar Shah. I'm going to be in contact with them relentlessly, and you can continue to concoct crime. How's it a crime to send them an email link? An order of protection I signed in handcuffs? I'm going to explain that in detail too. Order of protection I signed in handcuffs before this bald-headed wig-wearing Paula Metzler. So, I'm walking my dog the same way 7 years and 4,000 times. The window from this repulsive shack to Shaw Law Firm flies open. I don't know why this woman is screaming at me. She is screaming. That's what they do at the Shaw Law Firm. They scream. I bring my little guy in, put him in his dog bed. I walk through the parking lot. I'm the only American that'll be arrested for walking through that parking lot. I go in there. They refuse to talk to me. Nayraj and Kumar Shah. This woman is screaming at me, refused to talk to me. I walk through the parking lot. They already called the sheriff. So on my way to my residence to seize my little guy based on one phone call. And then I hear that pounding on my door, These employees have been here now 100 times. You don't just knock or ring the doorbell. I'd like to know if you, Todd Baxter, tell your employees to pound on the door, ring the doorbell, and cut loose. I open the door. There's your two employees with animal control. He's got a pole there. It's got a noose on top of it. I'm looking at this freak show in front of me. You're demanding my dog. All I'm doing is walking my dog same way for 7 years and 4,000 times. I tell you, you're nauseating, disgusting hack, Todd Baxter. You'll have to kill me to take my little guy from me. I slammed the door in their faces, you party-switching, bald-headed, nauseating, criminal, corrupt hack. And then I went over to his dog bed, and he was shaking. I picked him up. I held him here over my shoulder. I said, no one's ever going to take you from me. You fail to understand, Todd Baxter, that people love their dogs. You bureaucrats, you taxpayer-subsidized hacks at the sheriff's office and district attorney's office. What would you think if you were just walking your dog the same way you always have for 7 years and 4,000 times? And there's Todd Baxter at your door demanding your dog. What would you think about that descent on your life? The normality of your life. What would you think about that happening to you? It doesn't matter. Everybody's guilty, right? There's no such thing as an innocent man. No such thing as an innocent woman. There's no such thing as an innocent American. Everybody's guilty. There's one of your vehicles driving right by Wegmans, Todd Baxter. I saw him over there at Target 2 days ago. They're right there in the parking lot. I'm staring right at him. I looked at one of your employees in his vehicle outside of Target before I walked by Wegmans on Penfield Road. Overweight. So. How do you discipline your public employees, Sandra Dorley and Todd Baxter? How do you discipline your public employees? What's the disciplinary process at the district attorney's office, the sheriff's office? Because that foil I read, December 6th, the internal disciplinary records and documentation to employees of the Monmouth County Sheriff's Office of Sheriff Todd K. Baxter. That Sheriff Todd K. Baxter is disciplined, reprimanded, or terminated from employment to Monmouth County Sheriff's Office, December 6th. That's attached. He received it on December 4th. That's attached. He received it on December 2nd. That's attached. How do you discipline your public employees? 12/17. The internal disciplinary records, documentation for employees at the Monmouth County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Todd K. Baxter. That Sheriff Todd K. Baxter has disciplined, reprimanded, and terminated from employment at the Monmouth County Sheriff's Office. 12/17. The internal disciplinary records and documentation for employees at the Monmouth County District Attorney's Office, the District Attorney Sandra Dorley has disciplined, reprimanded, terminated from employment from Monmouth County District Attorney's Office. So Todd the Fascist Stooge and Sandra Dorley, here it is again on 12/19. A certain soon-to-be former president of the United States made famous the phrase, "You're fired." Because of this one here on December 19th for the internal disciplinary records, have you ever used the phrase, "You're fired," Todd Baxter? Have you ever used the phrase, "You're fired," Sandra Dorley? Oftentimes in bureaucracy, the person at the top of the bureaucracy, the boss, doesn't want to do it, and the number two is sent in to do it. I've seen this in Albany and Washington, D.C., and I understand that because the boss has other things to do, and the boss doesn't want to be bothered when he has to fire someone, and the boss can do whatever the hell the boss wants. So that's why the number two does it. You ever fired anybody, Michael Radler? You ever fired anybody, Perry Duckles? That's what I'm demanding to know. Here it is again on, that's attached, December 21st. This YouTube is 50 minutes. Hopefully I'll be done soon. And Todd, you got to arrest this guy. This guy here is just as guilty of a crime as I am on Christmas Day. Can you look at this? This guy is guilty of criminal contempt second for walking outside, standing on Sanders Farm Drive, telling a guy with a ZZ Top freak show beard that nobody owns that land. This guy is just as guilty as harassment second as I am when this guy had his head snapped back at the gym. All right, Todd the Fascist Stooge. So, I'm going to show you a piece of paper that delivers me to jail. This coffee stain document, that's not my coffee. This delivers me to jail right here by Shannon Meyer. You're $67,000 a year hack. Shannon Meyer went over there to 2041 Penfield Road with these two parasites, Neeraj Shah and Layla Kumar Shah, 50-year-old man living with his mommy. And this delivers me to jail. This piece of paper here. That the defendant, how am I defended on a piece of paper, Perry Duckles? How am I defended on a piece of paper, Sandra Dorley? How does this accusatory instrument exists where you were defended on a piece of paper? You got me guilty on a piece of paper. I haven't even appeared in court. I have never committed a crime. That the defendant did knowingly. Everything is knowing in life. Remain unlawfully. Remain unlawful by walking through a parking lot. How did I remain if I'm walking through the parking lot? Enter upon the premises 2041 Penfield Road, Penfield, by walking through the parking lot after being told to a certified mail by police that is not allowed on property. The police, what's the name? The bankruptcy, the nauseating lies that you tell at the sheriff's office, the police, who told me? Because nobody told me anything. This is what you concocted. Your $67,000 a year criminal, Shannon Meyer, concocted this for me so you could get your 6-foot addicts, degenerates, and sociopaths here. So, and then you hear the handcuffs go on. My neighbor watched this happen. Two of my neighbors watched this happen. They subsequently told me all you did is go outside and stand on Sanders Farm Drive, where you live. All you did is go outside, stand on Sanders Farm Drive, you tell a guy he's tracking over and walk house. How's that a crime, Todd Baxter? How do you explain that's a crime to the Department of Justice? How do you describe harassment second when there is no victim? So I have to go to appear before John P. Metzler Jr. What's the name of this assistant district attorney who doesn't talk, Sandra Dorley? What's her name? Rejected. John P. Metzler Jr., he went crazy on this envelope. I call this the Hannibal Lecter. I'm demanding information from him and telling him what I think about him. A lot of these documents that I read here, I sent to him, rejected, refused, losing his mind. Here he is again. He controlled himself, returned to sender. John P. Metzler, refused again. Neeraj Shah, can I mention his name? 50-year-old man living with his mommy. You going to charge me with a crime for mentioning his name, for saying his name? Neeraj Shah, 50-year-old man living with his mommy. Certified, now prove you own that land. It's nothing from him. Here he is. Here's his mommy. I'm going to tell you about his mommy, Layla Kumar Shah. Rights and order of protection. I'm forced to sign in handcuffs there in Penfield Town Court. So I'm at the YMCA. And when I go to the YMCA, I go to the pool. I swim in the pool. I leave the pool. I go to this room that has the heavy bag and the speed bag that I use. And I'm on the rowing machine. When I walk in, I'm on the rowing machine. I start to row. And across from this large room is the heavy bag and speed bag. And standing over there is Layla Kumar Shah. So I'm rowing on the rowing machine. I see her. I ignore her. I'm rowing. I'm rowing for approximately 15 minutes. And I'm ignoring her. I'm doing my best to just focus on what I'm doing on the rowing machine. And as she comes walking toward me, I'm thinking, just please walk right by me and leave me alone. Just leave me alone, you psychopath. And here she comes. She walks up to me, this Layla Kumar Shah. And she stands in front of me as I'm on the rowing machine. I look up at her. I don't say anything. and she points this like this. I don't know what she's pointing at. And I'm still staring at her, and I'm controlling myself and not saying anything to her. And she's still standing there pointing like this. And then I say to her loudly, "What's my name? You know my name." And she walks over, Layla Kumar Shah, to an employee of the YMCA. He has on the back, it says YMCA trainer on his shirt. That's an employee. She points at me, and she says, "He doesn't belong to YMCA." And then the YMCA employee, the YMCA trainer, replies to Layla Kumar Shah, "I don't know what you're talking about." This sick hack, this disgusting, appalling, nauseating human being is telling an employee of the YMCA that I don't belong at the YMCA. This is what you have unleashed upon me, Tom Baxter. I'm not supposed to contact these people. I'm going to be in contact with them relentlessly. And you'll be concocting new charges for me. Good. Because I'm going to use their names. And when I use their names, I'm going to send them. What do you think I'm going to send them? That's not certified like this one. That's not certified like this one. But I'm going to send them, sir. You can concoct new charges for me just for contacting them. This is the guy I use. Why do you think Steve Desmond used a civilian to get to my residence and what I just explained? This is the civilian. How often do you, Todd Baxter, sheriff of Monroe County, use a civilian to deliver 6 of your employees to the home of an innocent man? That's why he doesn't want to open his mouth. Steve Desmond and Brock Colo Tree and Lawn Care met with Shannon Meyer to get your employees here to concoct criminal contempt. Second, for me, there is real crime in Monroe County. I have the statistics for crime in Monroe County. And I've looked at it. The 5-year trend of crime in Monroe County. There are criminals transforming innocent New Yorkers into victims this day. And here's Shannon Myers meeting with Steve Desmond to come to my house to concoct criminal contempt. Second, for me. Fanatic, degenerate, sociopath, Shannon Meyer. Fanatic, degenerate, sociopath, Todd Baxter. This guy, Elliot Rope, certified mail, he's the one that says you're going to be arrested because he knows you put that camera on the building. Surveillance device. You bought a surveillance. So how do you explain to the United States Department of Justice that you, Todd, the fascist, dude, bought a surveillance device from me? Is this Elliot Roth? You're going to be arrested. Elliot, who told you I was going to be arrested? This guy's standing there. He has this smile on his face. Because you're a misanthrope, Elliot. You're taking pleasure in what they're about to do to me. You love the fact that they put that camera on that building. And when you say to me you're going to be arrested, you're happy. They are wallowing in happiness, Elliot Roth, telling me you're going to be arrested. So I'll say to you what I say to the employees of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. What is wrong with you? Elliot Roth again refused. Same guy. What is wrong with you? My name is Christopher Chichester. I've never committed a crime. When I was in Monroe County Jail, I went to the center of the jail. I took an envelope. I wrote on the envelope the words to remind me to be relentless. And I, Christopher Chichester, am relentless. You should know with the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and Monroe County District Attorney's Office, I am relentless, and I'm doing everything possible to see that you are removed from office, Sandra Dorley and Todd Baxter and Paula Metzler and James Mully. I'm doing everything possible to see that that happens. And I am relentless. And whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger.